2 months after turning 18, Jessie Hoffman Jr. abducted, essayed, and killed a lady in Louisiana on November 26, 1996. Mary Molly Elliott, a 28-year-old advertising executive, had just gotten off work that day and was headed to the Sheraton parking garage in downtown New Orleans, where she used to leave her car for work. When Elliott arrived at the garage, Hoffman, who was a valet there, met her and took the woman at gunpoint in her own vehicle. Hoffman made Elliott drive to an ATM in the area and take out some cash. He then requested that Elliott take them to a secluded location in St. Tammany Parish after she gave him $200. Once there, Hoffman forced Elliott to march to a patch of dirt and essayed her at gunpoint. He executed her by shooting her in the head after forcing Elliott to kneel on a temporary dock next to the Middle Pearl River. Hoffman disposed of Elliott's possessions and the murder weapon after killing her, leaving her nude body there. It was not until Thanksgiving Day, November 28, 1996, 2 days later, that Elliott's body was discovered. Her remains were found by a duck hunter who informed the authorities of the discovery. Later that day, Elliott's husband, who had reported his wife missing after she didn't show up for dinner, was able to identify her. A couple who discovered Elliott's clothing and possessions in an abandoned lot also reported the incident to the authorities. 3 ATM receipts that were linked to the same ATM where Elliott took out money for Hoffman were among the items. Based on the description of an African-American man who was seen with Elliott in the ATM photos, the police were able to identify and apprehend Hoffman. Hoffman eventually acknowledged his role in the murder after first denying it. He was charged with first-degree murder upon his arrest. If convicted of first-degree murder, a person faces the death penalty under Louisiana state law. Hoffman was then put on trial in 1998 in front of a 12-member jury from St. Tammany Parish. During the trial, it was revealed that Hoffman had gone shopping with his girlfriend using the money he stole from Elliott. In his initial statement, he said that he did take Elliott to a secluded area and had consensual relations with her, but that he did not hurt her. He said that an unknown man came to both of them, took Elliott, and that's the last time Hoffman saw the woman. He simply went home. In another discussion with the police, Hoffman admitted he lied during the first interrogation. He said that actually he accidentally shot Elliott to death. He didn't mean to, the gun just went off. The jury convicted Hoffman of first-degree murder on June 25, 1998. His attorneys said in their mitigation plea that Hoffman experienced long-term childhood abuse and neglect, which resulted in brain damage and symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. 2 days after Hoffman's conviction, on June 27, 1998, the same jury returned with its sentencing verdict, recommending that he be executed. The trial court formally sentenced Hoffman to death on September 11, following the jury's recommendation. Along the years, he submitted multiple appeals, but all were denied. He even sued the state for its lethal injection procedures, saying the manner of execution could be considered cruel and unusual punishment. We've heard that many times before, haven't we? The lawsuit was dismissed. As his term came to a conclusion, Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards made his first public declaration in 2023 that he was against the death sentence and had been pushing for its repeal in the state. However, a bill to abolish the death penalty in Louisiana was rejected by the majority of lawmakers on May 24, 2023. Hoffman was one of 56 death row convicts who submitted clemency petitions in June 2023, a month later, in an attempt to capitalize on Edwards' position. The Louisiana Board of Pardons and Committee on Parole was tasked with reviewing these requests. However, in July 2023, the board denied all 56 clemency petitions, finding that the offenders were ineligible because they had been filed too soon following recent court decisions on appeals. In addition to lethal injection, a bill that permitted the use of nitrogen hypoxia and the electric chair as alternate methods of execution was signed into law by Governor Jeff Landry in March 2024. This law came after Kenneth Eugene Smith, the first person killed by nitrogen hypoxia in the US and the globe, was put to death in Alabama in 2024. Because lethal injection drugs are difficult to obtain and drug companies refuse to supply them for execution purposes, Louisiana has had a 14-year moratorium on executions since the state last carried out the execution of Gerald Bordelon, who essayed and killed his stepdaughter in 2010. Jessie Hoffman's execution is set for March 18, 2025, after Judge Alan Zaunbrucker of the 22nd Judicial District signed a death warrant for him on February 12, 2025. A week after Hoffman's execution date was set, his attorneys were getting ready to file a federal lawsuit to overturn Louisiana's use of nitrogen hypoxia. A lawsuit challenging the state's new execution procedures was revived as a result of Hoffman's and Sepulvedo's cases. On death row, 81-year-old Christopher Sepulvado passed away from natural causes just a few days after the lawsuit was revived. Hoffman is now the only person in Louisiana with a confirmed execution date because Sepulvado passed away unexpectedly before his execution. Hoffman would be the first sentenced individual executed in Louisiana since 2010 and the first to be executed using nitrogen gas if he is put to death. Following Attorney General Liz Muriel's appeal to overturn Judge Dick's decision, which she claimed might potentially set a bad precedent for other challenges to the constitutionality of Louisiana laws in the district, the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals halted Judge Dick's ruling on February 24, 2025. Hoffman's execution date was able to stay on track as a result. On Hoffman's behalf, a number of his relatives pleaded for leniency. Marvin Fields, Hoffman's older brother, said the incident surprised him because Hoffman had just graduated from Kennedy High School and started working as a valet at the parking lot where Elliot frequently parked her car. According to Fields, his brother was never violent and their family was not wealthy. Their mother, who passed away in 2024, frequently beat her 4 children, including Hoffman, when they were little. Fields expressed his hope that his brother would be given another chance and said Hoffman felt bad for his family since he had caused them to suffer as a result of his wrongdoing. Hoffman's kid, who was born after his father was arrested for Elliot's murder, claimed that despite his imminent death, his father remained composed and his behavior remained the same. Cecilia Capel, Hoffman's attorney, filed an appeal to contest Louisiana's nitrogen gas execution procedures. In a statement to the media, Capel criticized the state for using the nitrogen hypoxia method to kill criminals when it was prohibited for use in animal euthanasia, and said that the courts ought to examine the unproven nitrogen hypoxia method. Aaron Gunches. Gunches is a prisoner on death row in Florence, Arizona, after being convicted for the 2002 murder of Ted Price. Gunches visited the house of his girlfriend on November 14, 2002. When he arrived, he found that she had gotten into a fight with Ted Price, her ex-husband, who had visited her earlier that day. Price was lying on the floor in a state of disorientation after being hit in the face by a telephone. Then, with the supposed goal of dropping Price off at a bus station, Gunches had his girlfriend and her companions assist him in getting into his car, but Gunches quickly discovered that he lacked the funds to purchase a bus ticket for Price. Price was then driven off the Beeline Highway into the desert by Gunches and a friend. Gunches killed Price by shooting him 4 times as he got out of the car. Officer Robert Flannery of the Arizona Department of Public Safety stopped Gunches in his vehicle on January 15, 2003 as part of a routine traffic stop. Flannery was shot twice by Gunches, then he ran away. Despite being hurt in the incident, Flannery lived. Following the event, more than 50 police officers went on a manhunt. The day following the shooting, Gunches was apprehended after being discovered in Wendon, hiding in a haystack. Following his arrest, he was accused of 2 charges of attempted second-degree murder. Gunches entered a guilty plea to Ted Price's murder in 2004, and he received a death sentence in 2008. In order for justice to be done and the victims to have closure, Gunches, acting on his own behalf, requested in November 2022 that the Arizona Supreme Court issue an execution warrant. Mark Brnovich, the Attorney General of Arizona, requested that the Arizona Supreme Court issue an execution warrant for Gunches. However, Gunches retracted his proposal in January 2023, claiming that recent executions amounted to torture. Following the appointment of Attorney General Chris Mays, newly elected Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs issued an order on January 20, 2023 to review the state's death penalty procedures. On March 2, 2023, the court issued the warrant for April 6, 2023, notwithstanding Mays' attempt to revoke Brnovich's request. The court stated that it had to issue the warrant following the conclusion of specific appellate processes. Governor Hobbs declared after the warrant's issuance that it permitted Gunches' execution, but it did not mandate that the state carry it out. Ted Price's sister, Karen Price, then petitioned the Arizona Supreme Court for extraordinary action, requesting that Hobbs execute the order. In support of Karen Price's petition, Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell submitted an amicus curiae brief. Hobbs filed a motion arguing that the court should not entertain Karen Price's motion because the state lacks the necessary correctional professionals with the necessary knowledge and is not prepared to carry out an execution in a way that complies with the Constitution. Ryan Thornell, director of the Arizona Department of Corrections, stated that he had to piece information together through conversations with employees present at past executions because he was unable to find enough documentation to understand key elements of the execution process. The warrant expired in April 2023 when the Arizona Supreme Court rejected the motion to extend it or direct the state to execute Gunches. Maricopa County submitted a second request for an execution warrant for Gunches on June 5, 2024. Mays, the Attorney General, moved to strike the motion, claiming Mitchell was not authorized to submit such a request. The briefing schedule established by the Arizona Supreme Court was intended to end in August 2024. On November 27, however, Attorney General Mays declared that she will ask for another warrant for Gunches in 2 weeks. Gunches himself made another written request to be put to death at the beginning of January 2025. He critiqued the Arizona legal system for taking too long to carry out the execution and particularly asked that the procedure be accelerated to an execution date in mid-February. The legal formalities of approving his execution were to be omitted, Gunches requested. The Arizona Supreme Court issued the execution warrant on February 11 after the state attorney general submitted a motion to obtain one on January 10. Gunches' execution date was set for March 19, 2025. Please hit that subscribe button if you like my channel. See you next time. Bye bye.